Hey there, it's Lacy J here to ask you to go to spacebearmedia.com right now to access all our content, buy yourself some merch, and most importantly, send us a message, the latter of which we'll reply to on our newly revamped weekly pre-shows, where we have as many fun segments as we do on the audio pod. There are current events with Christy, corrections and observations with Ben, and as always, questions with Derek. Plus, I have new fun facts and tell a terrible fucking joke every single week. Please join us, and please consider rating and reviewing us on your favorite app or recommending us to a friend who loves Lost. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. It's Lost in My 40s, Season 3, Episode 7. It's called Not in Portland. It's a Juliet episode, first of the others with a backstory. It's also a Derek episode. But first, how's everybody doing?
Woohoo!
Yes. Woo! Ben?
How am I doing? Yes, that was the answer. I am doing great.
Oh, fuck. Can you give us the power rankings as of last week, Benjamin?
Yeah, I can. We had Sawyer extending his lead with 58 points, Juliet in second place with 37, and Kate edging Mr. Echo out of the top three with 30 points.
Okay.
We have a new first place loser, and that is Dad Pants Danny with negative 57 points. He edged out Paolo, whose only sin so far has been pooping, negative 47 points. And then Mr. Peck has regained third place, taking that away from Jack, who did some heroic things and got himself out of the bottom three.
It's not a sin to poop. His sin is looking like a douche.
Yep. Like Ben said last episode, it has a real punchable face.
Yeah,
exactly. All right. Derek, why don't you tell us all about Juliet?
Okay, so we start off with a flashback, and Juliet is sitting on the beach at sunset looking out over the water. She leaves the beach and walks through a creepy hallway with flashing fluorescent lighting, carrying a zippered wallet. Ethan steps out of the doorway to say hello. What? Juliet doesn't respond.
What?
Even creepy the way he says hello.
Ethan. Yeah, everything about him is creepy.
Yeah. So they do a fake out, obviously. You're supposed to think she's on the island, but then she doesn't recognize Ethan. So it's like, wait a second.
So the scene switches to the inside of an apartment where she stops a record on a turntable and sits on a bed next to a sleeping woman. Juliet unzips the wallet and takes out an alcohol swab and a Band-Aid. The woman, wearing some kind of covering over her bald head, says, "Oh, I fell asleep." Juliet notices the woman left candles burning and then tells her they don't have to keep doing this. The woman asks, "Are you saying that because you don't think it's going to work, or because you're afraid he'll find out?" Juliet tells the woman to lift her shirt and injects her abdomen with a long needle and saying, "I'm not doing this as your doctor. I'm doing it as your sister."
What?
Okay. She then
also, this actress is
Robin
now like
Weigert.
the second awesome actress from Deadwood.
Third, actually.
Third.
Paula Malcolmson, Colleen.
Oh, right,
Trixie.
Colleen. I forgot. Yes. So
yeah, this is this is actually the fourth sighting. There were three actresses, but also what's his name? Jack's best man or whatever, the guy that was in A Christmas Story. He had a bit part in Deadwood
is
as well.
also
So
in Deadwood. That's
four
right.
Deadwood sightings so far.
Is Deadwood still ongoing?
Oh,
no,
God,
it was
no.
on 3 seasons back in like
3
2004,
seasons
something like
ended
that.
abruptly.
I guess I need to watch it. Oh, it's one of those.
It's such a great
It's one
show.
of those.
It's my favorite show. It's
But they
such a
did
great
come back
show.
years later and made the movie, which
they did.
also like continues the story, and
Just
it
have
was
to
really
watch
good.
that.
But 3 badass female characters from that show have now shown up in Lost so far.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Robin, the actress in this scene plays Calamity Jane in the show.
Yeah.
And her character is fucking amazing.
oh, she's great.
She's just a blithering drunk.
Yeah.
Back to Lost. She then tries to talk her sister into moving in with her, but her sister says she likes living on the beach. Juliet pulls open the shades, showing the city skyline, and replies, "This is Miami, Rachel. Everything's on the beach." And then we see an oceanic plane fly by.
Indeed, we do.
The plane was pretty close, too. Like,
Yeah, it was.
It's like right outside our window.
yeah.
Yep, convenient. So back on the island, it's day 73 for the survivors, and Jack is on the walkie-talkie in the Hydra Station operating room with Kate. The scene that ended the last episode repeats, where Jack tells her to get safe and then relay the story from Crash Day. He says, "Kate, damn it, run!" And then the scene changes to Kate and Sawyer in the cages. They start to give Danny and Jason a beatdown. Loved it.
That's an awesome scene, too.
Especially dead pants Danny. The scene changes again to the operating room where Tom tells Juliet to stop the bleeding. Jack says she's not a surgeon and can't fix this. Juliet confirms Jack is correct. Back to Kate and Sawyer, where Sawyer is ramming Danny's head into the fish biscuit button until he gets electrocuted. I actually rewound that scene a couple times. I was like, yes,
Take that, dad pants.
Yep. Warning,
Eat a fish
bam. They lock Danny and Jason in the cage and take off running. Back in the operating room, Tom wants to know what Juliet suggests they do. Juliet
Put your masks on. I should think you guys should put your fucking masks on.
That's
at this
basic
point.
operating room etiquette.
Jesus
I have that
Christ.
written here, too. They keep taking their masks. They take the masks off to speak, and it's like, no.
That was familiar. After years.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I've had, yes. Yeah.
Juliet tells the others to get Danny and then bring Austin and Ford back. Jack threatens to kill Ben if they go, and Juliet says, "No, Jack, you won't." And then to Ivan, "Go, get them back, and if you have to, kill them."
Damn.
Wow.
What?
Yeah, that was... She
Juliet.
seemed like not that kind of person, at first.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Well, Sawyer said that several episodes back. He's like, yeah, that blonde one, she'd kill you without a second thought. So,
True.
You're right.
Yeah.
He did.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah, he called that.
So we get the lost title screen, and then flashback number 2. Juliet is entering the medical research lab of Miami Central University at night.
Can we just stop for 1 second and appreciate Juliet's flashback hair?
Yes, it's very pretty.
Because it's just adorable, little ringlets and, pulled back in just the sweetest little way you ever did see. I fucking love it. I love what they're doing here. Just like what they do with Kate and make her 1960s housewife.
Yep.
Here, they're making Juliet just look as sweet as she could possibly be. And I love it.
So a sign on the door says Bio Research Building, and she has to use a access card to gain entry. She answers her cell phone while walking the hall, and a woman's voice asks for Dr. Burke and says her name is Diana from Mitalos Bioscience. And she's calling to confirm an appointment for tomorrow and tells Juliet that Dr. Alpert is very much looking forward to meeting her. Who?
I'm just saying, last week we heard Jacob's name, and now this week we meet Dr. Alpert. It's all coming together.
you're such a nerd.
Yeah, she is. She's all
I'm just so excited.
Juliet then enters a dark lab and takes 2 vials marked test sample out of a refrigerator. Very specific.
Yeah.
Suddenly, the lights turn on and Juliet hides. A couple enters and briefly talk about the lab before making out, because that's where I'd take my girlfriend.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I have that in my
Bio-research
notes too. I wrote, "Who brings their girlfriend to work for a fuck?" Like, that's weird.
Yeah,
Why would you
especially
do
a
that?
research lab. I mean,
Yeah.
Oh, here's all our biomedical research. Just pop the bum up there.
Yep. Doesn't that make you
Seems
excited?
really unsanitary, you know?
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah.
body fluids on.
Oh,
Let's see. Juliet's phone rings and she stands up awkwardly. He wants to know why she's there, and she tells him she got home and realized she inverted some numbers.
uh-huh.
The woman says, Edward? He apologizes and introduces Juliet as his ex-wife, who is now leaving. As Juliet walks away, Edmund asks her to turn off the lights.
Ew.
That's gross. He's gross. He's gross.
I actually wrote, he's gross.
Yeah, that
I
was
did
gross.
But
Actually says gross.
in the notes, it says Edward and then it says Edmund.
Oh, that's just
Boom.
me
No.
or autocorrect. Yeah, his name is Edmund.
Edmund,
Okay,
yeah. I just
okay, I
boomed
just-
him.
Yeah, but good for Derek.
I just pulled a booth.
No, you didn't. You read it the way I wrote it. I just wrote it wrong. It is Edmund. And this actor is also familiar.
He was in
Ian.
Underworld.
Mm-hmm.
wasn't he?
Okay.
Was it? No. He was in. I remember him from True Blood. He played the Inquisitor or something like that. He was like one of the like
Yes,
vampire
that's
cops.
it. True
or
Blood.
something.
That's where I'm remembering him from.
Yeah.
Okay. True Blood. He's got to be in other stuff. I don't know. Keep going. I'm going to look him up.
Yeah.
I'm going to Google him.
Was that the
He's
one with
an-
the vampires that glow or something, or werewolves, or
I think
that was Twilight.
That's
Sparkly,
Twilight.
Okay,
Sparkly, yeah, vampires is Twilight. No,
Okay.
this is True Blood it's based on a series of books, all of which I have read, but it's the HBO vampire series. Definitely not like Twilight.
No.
Okay, so back in the OR, Juliet tells Jack he hasn't thought his plan through. She informs him that his friends won't make it back to their side of the island because they aren't on their island.
What?
What? Jack looks at Tom, who says, "Afraid so." Juliet wants to know if they can come to a peaceful resolution. Jack replies, "Is that what you call asking me to kill Ben while on the operating table? Make it look like an accident?" Ooh.
Uh-oh.
Juliet says that's ridiculous, but Jack tells Tom she promised to protect him if Ben died. Tom tells Juliet to get out of the operating room. Before leaving, she says, "Don't let him fool you. He'll never just let a patient die."
I do like
mean, I
what
feel
Tom
like-
said there. She's like, well, don't believe him. And he's like, look, either way, you can't close him up. You don't need to be in this room. Like Tom is pragmatic in this situation, which I appreciated.
Yeah. The actor's name, by the way, is Zelikio Ivanek.
Exactly.
He is from Slovenia. And yes, Ben, he played the Magister.
The
on
Magister.
True
That's
Blood.
right.
Yeah.
So Danny and Jason are locked in Sawyer's cage, and Ivan and another run over to let them out. Kate and Sawyer are running through the jungle when they pop out on a beach facing their island across the water. Kate says, "We need a boat." Really? Sawyer, this is funny. Sawyer wants a buffet lunch.
Yeah, I think he says like, "Oh yeah, we need a boat." Not also, yeah.
Kate,
buffet
facial-
lunch.
Facial and a buffet lunch or something like that.
Yeah.
Facial.
I guess he needs to go look for a nearby marina.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Exactly.
Well, Kate figures if they follow the beach, they'll find a boat. Jack is still on the walkie-talkie, and she asks him for help. Jack asks Tom how they get off the island. Shots are fired at Kate and Sawyer, and one of them hits the walkie-talkie. Yeah.
Dude,
Whoops.
now that is
Yeah.
a lucky shot. From like
Absolutely.
where she was standing, it was like it would had to have passed through her hip in order to hit the phone, but somehow he hit that phone dead
Yeah,
center.
I saw that. I'm like, yep, that's
Yeah,
Hollywood.
bullshit.
Sawyer fires back, and they hide behind some trees. Then Sawyer runs out of bullets just when Alex shows up with her slingshot. Here we go
She
again.
comes again. Weighted with rocks.
She's a little scrapper, isn't she?
Yeah.
But she can actually hit her target.
That's true.
She does.
That's true.
She's good with those rocks.
She pelts Jason with a rock and tells Kate and Sawyer to follow her. She lifts up a handy camouflage top to a small pit dug in the ground and tells them to get inside.
Has Anna
Danny-
Lucia been here?
I know, seriously.
Danny and the others stop for a second and listen, but then move on. Sawyer looks at Alex and says, "Nice to meet you, Sheena." So we cut to a shot of Ben's face from underneath the operating table. Tom asks Jack if what he said about Juliet wanting to kill Ben was true. Jack says yes. And then in about 40 minutes, she'll have her wish. Ben wakes up
Hey
to
guys.
say, "Hey, that's not helping anything. Now, could somebody please get Juliet?" His back is cut open, his kidney sack is bleeding, and he's doesn't look like he's in any
He's just
pain. Yeah.
Hey
And he's still
guys.
commanding the room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's fucking tough.
So there's a slight bit of science behind that. Like if he had all of these things going on, like if it was painful, right? Like too much pain can lighten up your anesthesia. You're still not going to wake up and have a fucking conversation.
No, you're going to be like, ah!
It's leaning on the side of possibly not being totally ridiculous. But yeah, oh my
I have
God.
woken up under anesthesia.
Yes, but you don't like have a conversation and request company. You're
No,
just
that's true.
confused.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
No, the doctor saw my eyes opening and he told me to go back to sleep, and I did, and that's all I really remember. But I definitely woke up in the middle of surgery.
Wow.
Yeah, there are lots of things that can cause, you to come into a lighter plane like that, which is why you need an anesthesiologist to balance that out. But yeah. Anyways.
So flashback number 3, Juliet is working at a computer when Sherry, the woman banging her ex, walks in wearing a lab coat. So now we know why they were fucking in the lab.
I guess it makes a little more sense now, doesn't it? Yeah. That he's fucking his new
office,
hire.
Though? Why not in his office? Be a lot more comfortable.
Maybe that's just the thing they've got. Like that's part of their. That's
They
part of their.
think the lab
sexy
is sexy. That's their kink.
Yep.
And she tells Juliet that Edmund wants to see her. Juliet looks confused and asks if she works there. Sherry tells her she's the new research assistant, and Juliet replies, "Of course you are."
Oh, Edmund.
You're not the first year, and you're not going to be the last. That's what she just
Well,
said.
she's probably going to be the last.
Yeah. I think she's last.
But she doesn't know that at this point.
So Edmund looks over some papers in his office while Juliet stands nervously waiting. He tells her he wants in on what she's doing. She feigns ignorance, but he says he's read her notes and he knows that what she's taken from the lab. All he doesn't know is who her guinea pig is. She says what she's doing is on her own time and interrupts. "It's your sister, isn't it?" Juliet doesn't respond.
It's on my own time. It's on my own time that I'm breaking every ethical and moral
stealing shit.
rule and line, that I'm doing random experimental shit on my sister. Yeah, okay.
So she doesn't respond, and Edmund goes, "Look, Jules, there's 2 ways this plays out. One is your research is potentially genius, and the other, it raises some very serious ethical questions, maybe even criminal concerns. But if you collaborate with me based on my reputation, all this is viewed as cutting-edge science. And if we win prizes and drink champagne and do a lot of good for people," she still doesn't respond. "Why don't I give you some time to think about it?"
Okay, so he doesn't care about the ethics, right? If he's going to make money off of it, I'm going to threaten you with that.
He's going to say that it's his idea, and he's going to probably cut her out.
Exactly.
I still feel like he could be a lot more convincing if he rearranged those things. If he started off by saying we could do a lot of good for people and also win prizes and drink champagne. Mm-hmm. He says those other 2 things first, which
it's his list of priorities.
Yeah, exactly. I would like to point out, historically, this is a terribly accurate scenario. Women in science have been pushed aside and had
I don't like when he said, "Well, if it's
work.
my reputation, she can't publish it herself." I mean,
yes, exactly, and that's exactly correct.
Yeah. My guess from all of this was she was the previous research assistant, right?
Yeah, being his ex-wife. Yeah.
Oh, I see. But he married that one. But then he didn't stop with the research assistants.
Yeah. She was a pretty young one that started working there, and he's been under her yoke the entire time, it sounds like. Or she's been under his yoke the entire time.
Or under him, yeah.
Yeah. And he's probably been stealing her work for however long they've been together.
Yeah. Taking credit.
Setting aside the fact that she's totally unethical.
And there's that.
Terrible.
So is it unethical to steal from an unethical person?
Well, there's a question.
It's unethical to I don't know, experiment on your sister.
Yeah, a little bit.
And I thought at first it was cancer because she had the bald head. What she was injecting was maybe to save her from cancer. But
right.
It's not.
And that is, I think, what you're supposed to think, because she does have cancer or is recovering from it. But I think, at that moment, you're supposed to think that. But really, I think maybe the infertility is just connected to the cancer diagnosis. Maybe they don't really explain it.
Yeah, they don't.
Yeah.
So back on the island, Juliet is pacing outside when Tom comes up to say Ben is awake. She wants to know how, and Tom says Shepard says he's a spinal surgeon, not an anesthesiologist.
I mean, yeah.
True.
I'm a doctor, man, not an anesthesiologist. No, never mind.
Damn it, Jim.
Did you know that anesthesiologists are the highest paid doctor?
That's what I wanted to do. When I started going to college, I wanted to be an anesthesiologist, but kind of.
So
it's one of the riskiest ones too, isn't it?
I know.
Of course.
Yeah, because you can kill people. Well, surgeon can kill people too, but
yeah. as a licensed veterinary technician, I have the legal abilities to do anesthesia on pets, which I've done many times. I
Do
prefer
they use that
working
Profilol still, or whatever it's called?
Propofol. Yeah,
Propofol,
Propofol is an induction drug. It's what will put you into the state you need to be in, and then be maintained by other drugs. But yeah, anyways, I always hated anesthesia because it's so fucking boring. Because if it's not boring, it's because your patient is either waking up or dying. And so to have anything other than like the monotony of just maintenance on, watching what's happening, means like you're in trouble. And I couldn't do it. It wasn't for me. But human anesthesiologists, they're like the highest paid doctor you can be.
I got into it with one day.
You got into it with?
Oh yeah,
Was this over your red hair?
No, but I was getting ready to go in for surgery, and I've had a very, very minor heart condition since I was like 14, where I'll just go into palpitations. And he's like, "Well, you should really have surgery to fix this." And because he was going over my history, and I'm like, "Look, Wait,
the anesthesiologist told you to have heart surgery?"
Yeah, he was going over my history. Too? No. Wow. He was going over my history, and I'd been to a cardiologist at that hospital who said I had 3 options. Do surgery, but there was a 1% chance that he would screw up and I would need a pacemaker for the rest of my life. Take medicine, 1 pill every day for the rest of my life, and it would never happen. Or do nothing. It's not life-threatening. It's just scary. So the anesthesiologist is pushing me. He's like, "You should really go back to a cardiologist. I really think that you need to, see about the surgery." And I'm like, "Look, I didn't want the surgery. I'm just at the time I was in my 30s. It's like, I feel like I'm a little young for heart surgery, and I don't want to take the medicine." Why are you having to
defend yourself to this doctor, though?
Yeah,
That's
I was like,
so
I don't
weird.
want to take medicine because there's probably going to be side effects. He's like, "Well, what side effects?" I said, "I don't know, because I declined the medicine." I was like, instead, I chose option 3, which was do nothing. Weird. And it was, a cardiologist associated with this hospital who said that I could do that. And he's like, "Okay, well, I didn't mean to get you all upset before surgery." I said, "Well, you did. Yeah, and let me just tell you, I expect you to be paying attention, not doing a crossword puzzle, because I have been known to wake up in the middle of surgery." I went off on this man.
My thing. Derek, to be fair, like as an anesthesiologist, this is somebody that's going to have some pretty extensive knowledge about the cardiac system. I mean,
because medical school, you go through all that before you specialize.
I mean, in particular, like knowing what the heart is going to do and when you're under anesthesia, and so definitely not a cardiologist, and I don't think the doctor should be telling you what to do. But it's I think they have the knowledge to speak on a heart defect. But
it was just an inappropriate time.
Yeah, weird. Yeah. Anywho.
So after back to this Lost episode here, Tom tells Juliet that Ben is asking for you. So Kate, Sawyer, and Alex climb out of the pit, and Sawyer wonders if digging holes is her hobby, and that maybe she's got one on to the other island.
Yeah, I mean, that would be kind of cool, right?
That would be cool.
Like what's that Mexican drug lord who dug all the tunnels? What was his name?
Was it Chapo? I don't remember.
Yeah, El Chapo.
Yeah,
she's got like a Chapo tunnel over to the other island.
No, cool. we all know Ana Lucia's ghost has got a monopoly on digging tunnels and stuff digging holes on the other island.
But she tells him she has a boat, convenient, and they can use it, but they must hurry. Sawyer's suspicion says, "Hold on a second, sister. You just happen to find us in the woods? You just happen to have a boat, and you're going to let us use it, huh?" Alex admits she has an ulterior motive. She tells him that her boyfriend is being held prisoner, and they must help rescue him for the boat. Sawyer wonders if his name happens to be Carl. And she says, "Yeah," and they agree to help.
Side quest.
Yep.
Side quest to rescue Carl.
Carl. Actually, that series ended a couple weeks ago.
I saw that.
Wow.
Yeah. Did you watch it through the end?
No, I stopped around season 8. It just got kind of corny and boring, repetitive.
Every time I've watched it, I've gotten a little bit further because I've been determined. But I think
I could not season this last
8,
time.
The last time I left off about season 8.
It just got so bad.
I think I got to season 10, and then I was like, ugh.
Pretty much after Negan, I was done.
Negan was a great character, though.
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
Oh, Rick.
Super, super awesome villain, for sure.
Yeah, he was a great villain.
Yeah.
So in the OR, Jack tells Ben he stopped the surgery. Ben says he knows because he's been awake for a little while.
And politely asks them to put their fucking masks back on.
Yeah.
I know.
Seriously.
Stop lowering your mask.
Meanwhile, like Ben, let's talk about how focused Ben is. He wakes up in the middle of surgery with his back open and his sack bleeding, and he's just chilling, just listening. Just eavesdropping for a little bit so that he can get the upper hand even while cut open.
He's being operated on.
Yep.
Not freaking out at all.
No, he's totally calm. No.
Yep, and Jack even offers to help the pain, but Ben says he's fine. I'm fine. Leave sack and all.
Cool, I'm cool. Don't worry about it.
Juliet and Tom enter, and Ben asks to speak to Juliet alone. Jack refuses, but Ben says, please, I'm asking you one gentleman to another. It won't hurt you to give me 3 minutes. Will it, knowing I only have 27 left?
Oh, he's got like a watch now, too.
Yeah,
he knows how long he's
great.
been under.
Ben is great, though.
Yeah.
So Jack warns Juliet not to help Ben and tells him they have 3 minutes. Jack moves to the observation room and watches as Juliet sits down next to Ben. Ben can be seen talking but cannot be heard. Tom walks into the observation area and introduces himself to Jack before saying they've got history.
I loved it that he was just like, I'm Tom, by the way. You know?
Yeah. Right.
I kind of like Tom. He's a lot better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like Tom, too. I can't wait to see what you think of his backstory when we get there, Derek, because it's pretty great.
Juliet comes into the observation area and tells Jack to finish the surgery. He asks why he should do that, and she responds, because I'm going to help your friends escape. What?
The plot thickens.
Wow.
What is going on with Juliet right now?
I know, man. What did he tell her? Flashback number 4. Juliet is in a fancy conference room, and Dr. Alpert is giving a presentation. He tells Juliet that Metalos Bioscience is based just outside of Portland while showing her slides of the campus and employees. He tells her they plan work adventures in and around Portland for people who like to hike, bike, and river run. Yeah, I thought that was cheesy, too. He admits it all looks cheesy, but says the company's employees really are that happy. I bet they are. She tells him that she's flattered the company reached out to her, but she can't figure out why they'd want her. He asks if she successfully impregnated a male field mouse. She admits she did, but says it didn't carry to term.
How do you,
I know. I was wondering that too.
I don't understand. Impregnated where? Where?
Just a little going to grow.
Just a little whining and dining first, you know.
I don't understand.
Yeah, the kidney sack.
Exactly.
Oh, I see. The baby's in the kidney sack. Cool. Okay.
She admits she did, but says it didn't carry to term.
I don't wonder why. Where was it?
Yeah, where was it going to go to term?
How is it going to go to term? What are you talking
Was it going to be
about?
a butt baby or something?
Yeah, is that how he's going to deliver it through the butthole?
I don't understand. Like, can we please dive into this research for a second, Juliet? I need to understand what you're telling me.
I mean, I could feel like maybe an earthworm or something like that, like creatures that are known to be sort of like hermaphroditic, but like a male field mouse. Come on.
Right, because they specifically said male, as if that was supposed to be more impressive. I'm like, but I don't understand. I mean, I suppose it could be a male. It could be a male mouse with a uterus, but the
Weekly World News would have pregnant men, so you know.
Yeah, but I don't think that field mice deal in terms of gender. Gender is a human construct. It's a social thing. Like it's either a male or a female. Maybe it was a male with a uterus. I don't know, but I really would like to read this research because I don't understand it.
I'm sure it's published somewhere. They've got all of this shit.
So he changes the slide on the presentation and asks Juliet what she sees. She says it looks like a human womb of a woman in her 70s. Alpert says she's only 26. Juliet wants to know what happened to her, and he says, what if I told you could have complete freedom and money to find out? Wow.
Oh.
We think you're special, Dr. Burke, and we want you to lead a team of highly trained people because we think you're just that good. She tells him that her ex-husband would never allow her this opportunity. Alpert offers to reach out.
Why does her ex-husband have this power over her?
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah, so, okay, let's talk about this. Not only is she saying that she has to ask her ex-husband permission to take a job, but then the person offering the job is willing to reach out and negotiate with her ex-husband. What is happening here?
Yeah, it's very weird.
Very.
I can't. I don't understand.
Impregnated male field
Yeah,
mice.
that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but she tells him not to bother to reach out. He asks her if there's anything he might respond to, and Juliet jokingly says, if he were hit by a bus, how about that? That would work.
Oh.
Her eyes tear up and she says, how totally inappropriate. She apologizes for wasting Dr. Alpert's time, gathers her things, and tells him she's not what he thinks she is, that she's a mess.
She actually says, I'm not a leader. I'm a mess, which I think is interesting given the situation with her and Ben here on the island.
Right.
So in the Hydra station, Juliet finds Sawyer and Kate on the monitors and sees that Alex is with them. She says aloud, oh, hell.
I realize this island is not very big. They said, like twice the
There's
size.
There's cameras in the most perfect
Every
places.
time they look in there, they always see exactly what they want to see. These people are like running through the jungle somewhere, and it's like, oh, there they are.
There they are. Yeah.
I got them.
So Kate, Alex, and Sawyer are spying from the bushes on another, reading A Brief History of Time while guarding a building. Alex says this is the only place she hasn't looked for Carl, so he must be in there.
Walt! Sorry.
Yeah, Walt. Kate wonders if she knows the guard, and Alex says his name is Aldo. Sawyer wonders how to get past him with one gun and no bullets. Kate says she has a plan, and Sawyer replies, of course you do.
Oh.
I'd like to point out that Aldo is Rob McElhenney from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yay!
Oh, is he? Oh,
I have that in my notes too.
Yeah.
So Aldo is making notes in his book. Alex approaches, pretending she's got Kate and Sawyer as prisoners. She says she caught them in the jungle and wants to put them in the building. Aldo says she can't go inside because if her dad finds out, he'll kill him. What? Her dad?
Wait, so is this the first time that they imply that she is Ben's kid? I can't remember.
Yes.
Well,
okay,
he
so
asked
I mean, you
earlier,
would know,
did
Derek.
Alex ask about me?
Yeah, Alex asked, but...
Did Alex ask about me in the
that's-
previous? But they didn't say, did my daughter ask about me?
Right.
Okay,
So-
right. He asks about Alex, so that sort of hints like, why is he concerned with this one person over the rest? And then this happens. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's hard for me to remember sometimes where the little reveals are because I've seen the show so many times. But yeah, Derek, was that how you reacted? Was like, wait a second. Okay.
Yeah, like my dad. Hold on here.
Okay.
All right, so she says, my dad was the one who told me to bring them here, to you. Aldo calls Danny on the walkie-talkie and asks to talk to Ben. He says Alex is there with Austin and Ford, and Sawyer knocks him to the ground.
He
Alex
tackles the
smashes-
shit out of him.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah. I'm surprised this dude is even conscious afterward. He goes down so hard his head would have hit that pavement. Oh man. That was like a linebacker tackle.
It absolutely was, yes.
So Alex smashes the walkie-talkie, and Sawyer points the rifle at him and says, don't get mad at me just because you were dumb enough to fall for the old Wookiee prisoner gag. Alex wants to know where Coral is, but Aldo claims he doesn't know. Kate tells Sawyer to shoot him in the knee before grabbing the gun and do it herself. Aldo confesses Carl is at the end of the hall in room 23.
Oh.
23. Kate hits him with the butt of the gun and takes the keys from his back pocket. As they approach room 23, they can hear loud music blaring from speakers. They enter the room to find Carl strapped to a chair in front of a scene like Clockwork Orange, and that's just exactly what I thought of when
you
saw
saw
the
it.
scene.
Yeah. I mean, it's so obvious that they pulled from A Clockwork Orange. It has to be.
But there's nobody doing the old in out.
I've never seen it.
I love that movie. It's so good.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I think that somebody told me some fucked up stuff that happens in it, and I was like,
it's very funny.
There's straight up rape scenes and stuff in that
Oh,
movie.
yeah.
It's
full
fucked
on.
up.
I don't want to watch that.
It's an amazing film though.
It is.
Yeah, it's pretty graphic and pretty gruesome. I mean, honestly, like you're really either a Kubrick fan or you're not.
I love Kubrick.
Probably.
I do too.
There are a couple of his films I think that broke through more into the mainstream. The
Full
Shining.
Metal Jacket.
Well, Full Metal Jacket and The Shining.
Full Metal Jacket, The Shining.
2001.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's still cult. That's still a cult film. When I say breakthrough to the like mainstream, I mean where you might see most people having seen those films, and I think The Shining falls into that category. But Clockwork Orange is pretty brutal in what they depict. I don't even think you could get away with that probably now.
No.
It's Full Frontal.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I mean, HBO has some shows where they push some of the like violence, the sexual violence. That's what I'm talking about. But
but full frontal nudity of a woman getting gang raped in a theater by 4 thugs, that's pretty fucking intense, even by today's
Billy
standards.
Boy.
I don't think,
Yeah, it's pretty bad. All right, now that we're all depressed.
So, the screen is flashing random images of flowers, coins, keyboards, and the moon. Sometimes words are superimposed over the images saying things like, plant a good seed, and you will joyfully gather fruit. Everything changes. We are the causes of your own suffering. God loves you as he loved Jacob.
What?
Think about your life. Jacob.
Is this like Scientology reprogramming going on
That's
in
what
here?
it is, yeah.
It really
It
is.
looks like.
It could be. Well, I mean, we did question whether or not the others were Scientologists. I think it back in season 1.
Thetans.
Yeah.
Yep, it's Theorons or whatever the hell they call it.
Thetans. Christy got it right.
Thetans.
Thetans, I think, yeah.
Thetan. Alex takes an IV out of Carl's arm and removes some glasses with flashing lights for rims. The screen momentarily transfixes Sawyer, but he quickly snaps out of it, throws Carl over his shoulder, and they get out of the room.
When
Alex
Sawyer is transfixed, I just want to point out the slide that he's looking at says, think about your life. So, anyways.
Alex wants to know if Carl's okay. Sawyer wants to know where the damn boat is. So Danny shows up and slaps Aldo awake, calling him an idiot.
Notice how
That was
Danny...
actually fun.
One thing I noticed there is he slaps him twice, and he does a backhand first. He goes up and he backhands him, and then he open hand slaps him, and that just feels odd to me.
It feels reversed, yeah.
Yeah, why would you start with a backhand? I don't know.
Because he's
Fucking
dad
Danny.
hands.
Yeah,
Everything he
dad.
does is upside down.
That's right.
Juliet shows up and says they're letting them go, and Ben gave the order. Danny finds it hard to believe that Ben is awake. She tells him Shepard won't finish the surgery unless his friends go free. She asks Danny if he wants Ben to die. Danny replies, I know Ben would rather die than let them go. Really?
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't think that he does know that. I think you're wrong there, Dad Pants.
Yep. So
Pretty
we go to
dense there,
flashback.
Deadpants Danny.
So we go to flashback number 5, and Juliet enters an apartment where her sister is sitting in the living room. She asks about the job interview, and Juliet tells her it wasn't for her. It's in Portland, and her research doesn't even work. Rachel smiles and says that it does, that she's pregnant. They laugh and hug and cry together. Rachel says her entire life, all she's wanted was to have a baby, and now because of Juliet, she can.
What she doesn't know is that the baby is actually going to be part squid.
Yeah.
What
or part
the fuck?
field mouse.
Part field mouse. It's like, yeah, it's a baby-ish.
Sort of, yeah.
You're actually
she needs-
you're going to give birth to the first dragon.
All she needs to do is get healthy. Juliet assures she will, and Rachel says, now you can tell that bastard ex-husband of yours what he can do with his ethics.
No, not good. Not
Yeah,
okay.
it's still,
No.
it's still a thing.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
happy for you, Rachel, but no.
Yeah.
No.
Edmund is walking down the street on the phone with his mother, who he tells she's insufferable and mean.
Wow.
I love this scene.
Yeah.
He's like, you're
Wow.
so
What is-
mean. And then he's like, Mom. You figure out he's talking to his mother. You're like, damn, this dude's harsh.
He
I want to
is.
say I've been like perusing this guy's IMDb since we were talking about him earlier.
He's been in a lot of stuff.
A lot of shit that I've watched in particular too. 24, The Practice, Oz, The West Wing, a fuck ton of Law and Orders.
He's been in a lot of TV shows.
He's had to
Yeah.
play bad guys in a lot of Law and Orders.
He's just a character actor.
Yeah. Yep. Anyways, he's got quite a list of shows here. But continue with this brilliant fucking scene.
Yeah, this scene was crazy. Juliet runs up and tells him that Rachel is pregnant. He's blown away and says he'll need to look at her labs and verify the data. Juliet says she's not interested in publishing the work. She was just helping her sister. Edmund wonders why she's there if she's not interested in publishing just before he steps off the sidewalk and gets hit by a bus.
Nice.
Boom!
I mean, that was just like, what?
Really puts the hit in mass transit.
Yep.
It's always so shocking when somebody gets hit by a bus.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or by a car. Like,
Bus is better, though, because
there's a brilliant scene in Meet Joe Black. With,
I was just going to say. Meet Joe Black.
And Brad Pitt gets obliterated by a car like that. It's pretty great.
And it's at like the beginning of the movie, and you're like, wait, but Brad Pitt's supposed to be in this movie.
Yes, that's actually a pretty good film. But this scene is just awesome. It's just awesome because first you like have the mental shock of what the fuck just happened, and then you're like, wait a second, didn't she just say?
Yeah, didn't she mention in that interview about getting hit by a bus?
Yeah, what's that about?
So after Edmund gets creamed by a bus, we're back in the OR and Jack is finishing Ben's surgery. Tom looks sick and says he doesn't like blood. There was a lot of it there. Jack wants to know why they didn't just take Ben to a facility if they have the power to get off the island. Tom says, because ever since the sky turned purple, we've been... But just then, Jack nicks an artery, only this time not on purpose.
Oopsie.
Tom asks if he can fix it, and Jack says, damn it. You don't want to hear your surgeon to say, Ben's listening to this. I'm sure he heard him. You don't want your surgeon to say, damn it.
Yeah, right. That's not what you want to hear.
Yeah, oops. So Kate, Sawyer, and Alex arrive at an outrigger canoe. They're pulling the boat in the water, and Sawyer says, so you're the boss's daughter, huh? I never saw that coming. He grabs Carl, calls him Cheech, and puts him in the boat. Carl mumbles Danny, and Sawyer corrects him. He does it again, and Sawyer turns to find Danny pointing a gun at him. Another amazing scene.
Yeah, totally.
Kate runs towards him screaming, no. From off camera, we can hear Juliet scream, Danny. He turns to look at her, and she shoots him dead. Wow, 2 quick deaths right there.
Yeah, man. She puts 3 shots into his torso. Just pop, pop, pop. It's like, yeah. Get it, girl.
Juliet.
So the demise of Dead Pants Danny.
Dead Pants Danny's gone.
She has been working hard learning what? Do you need to shoot when you work with field mice? I don't know. Where did she get those skills from? Are field mice more vicious than I know?
This is the whole like lack of ethics thing.
When you're trying to impregnate a male, yes, I bet you they are violent.
No, lady, no.
That's worse than Little Bunny Foo-Foo.
Oh my god. Derek, were you like, what the fuck? Did Juliet just gun this guy down? What did you think of that?
I was very surprised when I saw that. Happy and surprised. I'm like, he deserved it, but, I was like, why does she do that?
But at the same time, you're still riding the high of Edmund getting hit by the bus.
Yeah,
right. Like I said, 2 really quick deaths.
Yeah.
It'd be funny, like all of a sudden you hear something, they fall out of the sky. It's like Mr. Peck just lands right in the sand in front of them. Splat. It's like, holy shit.
I think it would have been pretty fucking awesome if Danny got hit by a bus.
On the island, yeah.
Do you have a bus system here?
Yeah. It would have been like Inception or something. A fucking bus just comes out of the jungle.
Yeah.
Okay, back in the OR, Jack is trying to save Ben, but there's too much blood and he can't see. He needs Tom's help, who's still queasy. He tells him if Tom doesn't get over there right now, Ben will die. So on the beach, Juliet tells Kate and Sawyer to get out of there. Alex tries to go with them, but Juliet says she has to stay. She says they both know her father and that the only way Carl will live is if she is by his side when he wakes up for surgery. Carl says he missed Alex, and she says she missed him too, but he will have to go away now. They say, I love you, and then Kate and Sawyer push the boat into the water. Juliet asks them to wait and then hands Kate the walkie-talkie. She tells Jack that the blonde woman is letting them go, both she and Sawyer. Now I like this scene. Jack wants to hear the story. An emotional Kate says, you were doing surgery on a girl and you messed up. You made a mistake. You tore something on her back and all the nerves came loose. And you said you were so afraid and you said the fear was so real and you didn't know what to do. So you counted to 5 and then you weren't afraid anymore. And then it was just gone and you fixed her. You saved her. Jack then asks Kate to make him a promise. He says, promise me that you will never come back here for me. Don't come back, Kate. She asks where he is, but Jack tells Tom to turn off the walkie-talkie. Sawyer tells her that the winds are changing and they must go now, and they push the boat into the water and start rowing home.
Holy fuck.
And the look on Sawyer's face while this exchange was going on. Mm-hmm.
Huh?
Yeah.
Because she's forever in the middle of him. I mean, he won the, the sex wars, I guess. But she's emotionally connected to both of them.
Yep.
She's poly. She's non-monogamous is what it is. Right. And it's being
an island
hidden.
You should be. I mean, shit, free for all.
Well, yeah.
I mean, you're stuck on an island. Shit.
Everyone in England is like, that's not proper.
Yeah. Flashback number 6. Juliet is in the morgue with Edmund's body after being hit by a bus. The employee says she has some paperwork to sign, but there's no rush. She starts to sign the documents and then breaks down crying.
Yeah, because she's probably like, I'm in shock. I just had to watch this guy get hit by a bus, and I'm pretty sure I wished it into existence. I'm not okay, guys.
So Jack is now watching Ben from the observation deck. Juliet joins and asks if he was able to get the tumor. Jack says yes, and that he'll need a biopsy to see if it's malignant.
Oh, what are they going to send it off to the lab?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking. They don't even have a crash card or a decent OR. They're going to have a way to do a biopsy. They've got a pathologist
in another patch.
They're like, our lab is on another island. Yeah. There's a lot of islands here.
Oh my god.
He wonders if it's back to the cell for him now. She says yes until they figure out what to do with him. Jack notices before asking what Ben said to her to change her mind about him being alive. She says it doesn't really matter. Jack replies, it matters to me. After everything I've been put through, you owe me an answer. I want to know what he said. And he was very direct about that.
Mm-hmm.
So we go back to the flashback number 7 and back to Juliet crying in the morgue when footsteps could be heard. Tissue asks a familiar voice off camera. And she takes the tissue from Ethan. What the hell?
Mm-hmm.
Thanks him and asks.
I would not accept one from him. I'd be like, can I get one from the other guy, please?
Yeah.
No, Ethan doesn't look right in like a button-down shirt and stuff. Like he's just way too creepy.
So appearing from behind Ethan is, lo and behold, Dr. Alpert. He said he heard about what happened on the news and wanted to express his condolences in person before heading back to Portland.
Wait, what? Wait, what? This guy shows up out of nowhere, offers her a job, offers to negotiate her terms of employment with her ex-husband, and then shows up at the morgue to wish condolences? Like, Juliet, run as fast as you
seriously.
can. This is
These
not
people
a good situation.
are ghouls. Go away.
Because he introduces Ethan as one of his colleagues. I'm like, I'm out.
Yep, exactly.
Nope, not important.
That creepy motherfucker? No.
Yeah, She tells him that Edmund was hit by a bus after she said in the interview that he will be hit by a bus. What? Alpert tells her she's shaken up now but can't blame herself. He then makes one final plea for her to join in Portland by saying, we're that serious about getting you to come work with us. Just give us 6 months. If you need to, you can be back before your sister gives birth. This guy knows everything.
Yeah, I like before this where she says, I told you if you got hit by a bus or whatever, and he says something and he goes, and I don't even really remember you saying that. And when he's doing that, they're playing like these creepy, it's like somebody's plucking out of tune piano strings. It's like cling, cling, cling.
But
it's really eerie scene.
If Juliet was doing this under the table with her sister, how would he even know she was pregnant? Because there's no official thing he can spy on.
Indeed.
Mm-hmm.
We remember the file, right, that she had on Jack? And what is that, like the first episode of the season or second episode or something like that? I imagine there's a Juliet file that they had before they came in. Now, how they're getting that information in there, I don't know.
She's surprised he knows about her sister, but Alpert tells her that they are very thorough in their recruitment process. Juliet wants to know if her sister can come with her. He tells her no because they work remotely. He will ensure she gets the treatment she needs. Julie is confused, saying that Portland has plenty of clinics. Alpert interrupts her to say, well, actually, we're not quite in Portland. And that's when I realized what it really was. Back into the exact moment with Jack and Juliet, Jack again says, I want to know what he said. Juliet looks at him and replies, I've been on this island for 3 years, Jack. 3 years, 2 months, and 28 days, but who's counting? He said, if I let him live and I helped you, that he would finally let me go home. And that's the end of the episode. Wow. Let you go home.
Fuck, what an ending.
Yep.
Whew, I got goosebumps.
was a really good episode.
Yeah.
Yep.
How about some fun facts? We are, of course, going to talk about A Brief History of Time by Stephen Hawking.
Gilgamesh.
It's not Gilgamesh. Aldo was reading A Brief History in Time, which was first published in 1988. This was Stephen Hawking's way of explaining the most complex concepts and ideas of physics, such as space, time, black holes, planets, stars, and gravity to the average person. So it is for anyone to read. That was the whole purpose of the book. He wished to make the most important theories, discoveries, and phenomena from the world of physics accessible to everyone with a basic 8th grade knowledge. He writes in non-technical terms about structure, origin, and development and eventual fate of the universe. He breaks the book up into 11 chapters, and there are 3. Well, let me tell you what the chapters are. So our picture of the universe, space and time, the expanding universe, the uncertainty principle, elementary particles and forces of nature, black holes ain't so black, the origin and fate of the universe, the arrow of time, put a pin in that one because we're going to talk more about that next week, wormholes and time travel, and the unification of physics, which is the theory of everything.
Yes.
Yeah, which is not
complete.
Yeah.
Right. It is incomplete. Correct. So there are 3 main takeaways from Stephen Hawking's book, or 3 big things that he hopes everyone takes away from this book. The first thing being, scientific theories can never be proven. Okay. Proof is a mathematical term. There's no such thing as proof in science. So he wants people to understand that, and to also understand that to be considered a theory, it must be possible to be disproven. Okay. If there's no way to disprove what you're saying, then there's no way to ever know if you're wrong. And that's not science. That's
religion.
Other things.
Maggots.
Yeah. So theories remain the highest scientific accolade due to the evidence supporting them, the lack of evidence challenging them, and the ability to make predictions, which is the most important thing. If using a theory, you should be able to, like with evolution, there was a team who predicted, like, if what we know is true, we should be able to go to this place on the earth and find this specific form. And they did, and they went there and they found tectonic. And so making predictions is an important part. If you don't understand what scientific theory is, I suggest doing some reading on it because it will change the way you understand things.
If we come from monkeys, why there's still monkeys around?
I know.
The immortal questions of Herschel Walker.
Oh, gosh. And yeah, you guys, we're actually recording this at the end of January, or excuse me, at the end of November. So we know that the red wave wasn't much more than like my middle-aged periods. But we don't yet know if we'll be calling him senator. I seriously doubt it. But
the United States is the best state in the country.
The United States is the best state in the country.
Yeah. Quote.
But did you hear about how his primary residence is in Texas?
I did, yeah. I did, yeah. That's how he filed his taxes. Anywho,
did you hear about vampires? Vampires are pretty cool people.
Yeah, that's right.
The second most important takeaway is that time is not fixed because of the speed of light. If one person travels 186,000 miles toward a ray of light and another travels 186,000 miles per hour away from it, but the speed of light is constant, the light would reach the first person 2 seconds faster. That is what Einstein called the theory of relativity. Yep. And this gets important as we move on in this show. The third most important takeaway that Stephen Hawking has is that time can likely only move forward. Hawking has 3 reasons why. The first being that time only moves forward thermodynamically. Entropy is the tendency to increase disorder whenever possible. So, for example, A dinner plate stays whole because of the force that keeps it together. But when you push it onto the ground, its entropy increases, meaning it's now more disordered and it's in many pieces. Forward time is why it can never reassemble itself. We just don't see that happening. Second thing, time only moves forward psychologically, meaning you can't remember the future. For example, after the plate is broken, you can imagine what it looked like whole. However, when it was whole, you couldn't imagine what the shards would look like after it broke. Third thing, time only moves forward cosmologically. Like the dinner plate, as the universe expands from the singularity, its entropy increases, meaning time can only go one way. However, Hawking does say there's a possibility the universe could start contracting again, thus reversing time. He also says that since our bodies rely on entropy to break down food, which is what gives us energy, if this process were to reverse, all life would eventually cease. And that's what Stephen Hawking would like you to know about the universe. It's a little depressing, I guess, but
yeah,
you won't be around
cold death of the universe,
to see it happen, I promise. All right. Let's talk about some best and worst moments. How about Derek? What did you have for this episode?
The best moment was Juliet killing Danny.
Okay. Yeah, you liked
getting rid of him.
Nice.
I also liked this scene where Kate retold the story that Jack told her on the first episode of the series. Worst moment was when Jack told Kate not to come back for her and the look on her face, because of the emotional connection that they have.
Right. Okay.
I mean, best characters was
No.
Alex.
No, we're going to keep going on best and worst moments.
Okay.
It's fine. We've only been doing this for like 2.5 seasons.
Yeah, I know.
Ben, how about you? What were your best and worst moments?
My favorite scene was probably that last scene where Albert's in the morgue and basically like showing up and like saying, we really want you to work for us. It's just so out of like, it's so creepy. It's so unnecessary. Like it's ghoulish. And I like that part of it for some reason. The worst scene in this was, I agree. When Jack tells Kate, don't come back for me. And you see her face and there's that sort of realization.
All right. Christy, how about you?
I had two best moments. It was a tie between Edmund getting hit by the bus and Juliet killing Danny. And then two worst moments. It was a tie between the look on Kate's face when she realized that Jack said, don't come back for me. Also Alex, when she realized she had to stay behind after rescuing Carl.
Yeah. Ladies' hearts are being broken in this episode, huh? I had 4 best moments.
Wow.
Were two of them people getting killed?
No.
No.
I had Sawyer tackles Aldo, the Clockwork Orange scene, Juliet murders Danny, and then the last moment of the show when she says, like, basically admits that she's being held there by Ben and that he'll let her go because that's like, holy shit. For worst moment, I also had the look on Kate's face when Jack said, don't come back for me. Ben, what were your character rankings?
Top 3, I've got Jack again in the top spot this week. He's just continuing to be a kind of a baller. He's formidable in a way that's close to Ben, even though Ben's more manipulative. Jack is kind of seeing he's kind of starting to play the games a bit there. And he's playing some pretty high stakes games. So
he's also been in his element.
Yeah. True. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. He's got that's kind of surgery god complex thing going on.
Yes.
Second place, Juliet, and third place, Alex. Just her, running around being scrappy with her slingshot. That's just adorable. Bottom 3, I've got now truly dead pants Danny, Edmund, and I'm going to evoke Ethan for the bottom 3 because he's just creepy. I'm going to fuck Juliet with her cute like ringlets hair that she had when they did the flashback. It was just adorable. And then I'm going to kill Danny.
I said the same thing in mine. That's too funny. Go ahead.
I killed Danny. I killed him before he was dead, though.
Okay. I also had Scrappy Alex in my top. I had Benjamin Linus at the top because the man wakes up in the middle of back surgery and is handling business. I mean, I don't know who else does that. Scrappy Alex in second because I'm loving the slingshot, and yeah, she's like her mother basically, which is awesome. And then I have third best. I put Dr. Richard Alpert just because the mystery surrounding this guy right now has got me like, what? As if I didn't know what was going to happen. But the introduction of this character who's come out of nowhere and is like, I don't know, fascinating, I guess is the word I'm looking for. Worst characters, I have Dad Pants Danny and Aldo, who's also looks like a douche to me. I'm fucking Juliet with the flashback hair on Dad Pants Danny's grave.
Yikes. I thought you were going to do it on the laboratory table.
I also killed him for the last time. It may not be the last time. We may have like a Randy Douchebag Nation situation where I bring Dad Pants Danny back for another killing every once in a while. We'll see. Christy, how about you?
My top three, I had Alex, Juliet, Jack, which is like the opposite of some of y'all. She was just adorable with her slingshot running around helping people. Bottom three, Danny, Edmund, and Ethan, just to round it out. I'm going to fuck Aldo / Mac from It's Always Sunny.
Okay.
And I'm going to kill Edmund.
With a bus?
With a bus.
With a bus.
Derek, what about you?
My best was Alex first because, that's her helping people. Second was Ben.
I like all the Alex love today. That's good.
Yeah.
Yep. Second is Ben Linus because, anyone who can give orders while on an operating table,
Different
your
from
rack open and your sack cut.
Different from the Alex love that Ben was giving her last week.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah. That was more of a shameful love.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt, Derek.
Oh,
Oh, no, you're that's funny. And then Jack was third just because he's, like Ben said, he's coming into it. Worst was, of course, Dead Pants Danny, Edmund, and Ethan, because Ethan's back again, so got to get him on the worst list. I'm going to fuck Juliet, in the flashback scenes, and then I'm going to already killed Dead Pants Danny.
Of course. All right.
I think that might be the most similar our top and bottom threes have been in a really long time. Like we were almost all like, that was all very similar.
Dead Pants Danny over here is about to pull a Michael
Running
and drop
the table.
off a fucking cliff.
Oh yeah, no one's catching him.
Yep.
All right. Ben, could you update us, please, after this episode at what our rankings look like?
Yeah, not really a whole lot of changes. Actually, no changes at all. Sawyer's just at the same place, 58 points. However, Juliet has pulled in, is in second place and is closing with 52 points.
Wow,
Kate's
Juliet.
still at 30 points in third place. We've got Dead Pants Danny, negative 85 points as we put him into the ground. Paolo still at negative 47 points, and Mr. Peck still at negative 16.
So no changes, like people aren't moving around so much, but Juliet is closing in, and Dead Pants
Danny went off the cliff, and Juliet closed in. Yeah.
All right. Awesome. So let's do some final impressions. Christy, how did you feel about this episode?
I love that we got a backstory on one of the others.
I know. It's exciting,
and
right?
Juliet's just such a great character. So yeah, I was really happy with it. It was exciting to learn more about the others. I wonder how many other others we might get backstories on. So
I'm hoping we'll get a Ben.
Well, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There is a Ben. And that's it. You're done.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm done.
Woo! Benjamin, how about you? What'd you think of episode 7?
Well, I mean, it shows Juliet's quite the onion. She's
Yeah.
She has obviously no ethical qualms about experimenting on her sister. She's in some sort of like fucked
or
up
gunning someone down.
Yeah, she's like an indentured servitude with her ex-husband who's banging the intern, and I think she was the previous intern. So she's obviously there's already some like weird control issues there, which when you bring her to the island, it's just kind of recreating that. She's in that same position with Ben where she's essentially his servant. So you get to see her, and she's somebody that can be both very, very gentle and also fucking lethal at the same time. Yeah. So she's again a formidable character. It was, kind of heartbreaking with Jack sort of finally just saying like, basically like, I'm here, I'm with these people now or something, like, don't come back here for me. He really wants to get that. He's pushing that pain away, which is, obviously that pain doesn't stay away just because you push it away. So we're seeing Jack do what he's always done, trying to bury his feelings.
Yeah. For
all
sure.
in all, yeah, I didn't even realize before you'd mentioned it earlier that this was the first time that we had an Others backstory.
Yeah, me too.
And I think it's a pretty strong showing for the first Others backstory. And
for sure.
Good
Absolutely.
episode. I enjoyed
for
it.
Sure. Yeah, we've had a couple stages where first, obviously, it was the originals, and then we got some of the backenders. Then we were allowed to see some of Desmond's story, who's just sort of like a wild card at this point.
Yeah.
And then she's the first Other that we see. So yeah, it's pretty cool. I thought this is a wild fucking episode. What a ride! So much crazy. I love what it adds to the story. Like, yeah, Juliet is even more of an enigma now. We see all of these sides of her. Like, what an interesting character. She feels like a wild card. I don't know what she's going to do next, which is exciting. Also, who the fuck is Dr. Richard Alpert? What is going on with this guy?
Yeah.
Does he have the ability to kill you with a bus? I don't understand what's happening here.
Is he always wearing eye makeup, or are his eyes just like that in real life?
I think his eyes are just like that.
They actually are just like that in real life, but he's been interviewed many times about his eyes. You know what? Next week's pre-show.
He's like, my father was a raccoon.
So next week's pre-show, we'll talk a little bit more about Richard Alpert's eyeliner, natural eyeliner.
Got it.
So the other thing that I'm wondering about Alpert and whatever he's up to with Ethan, why are they so intent on recruiting this like unethical fertility doctor? Like, why her? Why is she important? What the hell are they trying to do? And then also, what the fuck is going to happen to Jack? And now he's alone. And I mean, he was promised that he was going to get off the island, right? That's what Ben told him, which is part of the reason, I think it was easy for him to say, don't come back for me. He didn't have time to say, I won't be here, bitch. Bye.
Yeah, that's true.
I wonder if they got any more of them boats like the one Michael and Walt took off on.
Yeah.
Or submarines. But I don't think he knows about that. Yes. Yeah. But yeah, so like now why the hell, like what's going to happen with Jack? And then also, why wasn't Juliet allowed to go home? Why is she saying like it's coming to fruition that she's a prisoner there? Like what the fuck is that about? So much in this episode, I feel like comes up and it's definitely a high point for season 3. I feel like so far. Derek, what'd you think about this episode? How'd you find it? And did it leave you with any questions I didn't just rattle off?
Oh, I thought it was a great episode, the best one of the season so far.
Yeah.
Because, just you got to learn more about Juliet, but then it generated a whole lot more questions that it answered. We see that, that Alex is Ben's kid. That was something I didn't know. I mean, they had alluded to it once before. And Danny is finally killed. Good riddance to Dead Pants. But my biggest question is, who is Dr. Alpert? Why is Ethan with them, and why are they recruiting Juliet?
Ah, yes.
And I figured out they're going to the island because, he said it's a little ways
it's not
from Portland.
Yeah,
exactly.
The question I'm going to throw a question out there is if the French woman was pregnant when she got there, then how could it be Ben's child? How could Alex be Ben's child?
I don't know.
What?
Yeah.
Maybe.
And Ben was born on the island.
Huh. I mean, that'll come up. Yep. It's a pretty simple answer.
Yeah.
But it's not going to come up next week. All right. Next week, we get another Desmond episode. Hells yeah. It's season 3, episode 8, flashes before your eyes. If we think this week is a high point for season 3, let's wait until next week because it's a hell of an episode.
Yeah.
It's Desmond. It's Christy. We'll see you then.
It's cray cray.
Bye.
Bye.
Lost in My 40s is a Spacebear Media production. Executive produced and edited by me, Lacy J. Sound engineering, editing, and original music by Benjamin Trimp. Like and follow Lost in My 40s on Facebook to interact with your hosts. Plus, follow Spacebear Media on YouTube to watch our episode pre-shows. You can also find us at Spacebear_media on Instagram and Twitter. Or come to our website, spacebearmedia.com.